Have you ever wondered how to truly see someone's soul, beyond their words, their charm, or even their best intentions? Sometimes, the truth about a person isn't hidden in grand gestures or dazzling stories. Instead, it lies in two simple, overlooked things. According to Shi Heng Yi, a modern sage rooted in ancient wisdom, the way someone treats those who can't offer them anything and how they honor their own promises are the true mirrors of their character. Imagine being able to see beyond the surface, to understand who a person truly is without needing to guess or hope. The answer lies in two profound yet simple actions. If you learn to recognize them, you'll never see people the same way again. In a world obsessed with appearances, it's easy to mistake confidence for kindness or a warm smile for sincerity. We've all met people who seem genuinely good, until they show a side that makes us question everything. The truth is, people wear masks. Sometimes they do it to protect themselves. Other times, they do it to project a certain image. But according to Shi Heng Yi, there are just two fundamental things you need to observe to see through the illusion. Today, we'll explore these two indicators in depth. You'll learn why they matter, how to recognize them, and how this insight can transform your relationships, not just with others, but also with yourself. You might be surprised to find that understanding someone's character is far simpler than you think, once you know where to look. If you find value in exploring the deeper truths of human nature, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Your journey towards deeper insight and authentic connection starts right here. Share this video with someone who values wisdom, and let's uncover the truth together. In the teachings of Shi Heng Yi, one timeless truth stands out. The essence of a person is not revealed through grand gestures, but rather through their smallest, most unnoticed actions. Think about it. Anyone can put on a show when the spotlight is on them. They can be charming, generous, and thoughtful when it benefits them. But what about when no one's watching? Shi Heng Yi often spoke of the importance of observing how someone behaves when they think they're invisible to the world. The real test of character doesn't happen when we're trying to impress others. It unfolds in those small, quiet moments that seem insignificant. For example, how do they treat people who cannot reciprocate? Picture this: a busy restaurant, a crowded table. Someone clicks their fingers impatiently at the waiter, barely making eye contact as they order. The same person later flashes a warm smile to their boss, engaging in polite conversation. Which one shows their real nature? It's not the polished friendliness toward someone they want to impress. It's the dismissiveness toward the person serving them. Shi Heng Yi teaches that the way we treat those who hold no power over us, the janitor, the cashier, the passerby who asks for help, reflects our true essence. Those tiny interactions reveal more about us than any grand speech or public act of kindness. It's easy to be generous to those who can give us something in return. But real kindness is given without expecting anything back. It's patient, consistent, and humble. Think about how someone reacts when they see a homeless person on the street. Do they make a quick judgment and move on? Or do they acknowledge the person's humanity with a simple nod or a kind word? These actions are often subtle, but they speak volumes. They are the whispers of the soul. And when you train yourself to observe them, you begin to see beyond appearances. You understand that character isn't built on how people act when they're praised. It's built on how they act when there's nothing to gain. Take a moment to reflect. How do you treat those who can't offer you anything in return? Do you show respect to everyone, regardless of their status? This simple reflection can lead to a profound shift in how you see yourself and others. A promise. It sounds simple, almost mundane, doesn't it? Yet Shi Heng Yi reminds us that a promise is much more than just words. It's a contract between souls. When someone gives their word, they are not merely stating an intention, they are revealing their inner integrity. Consider this. Someone promises to meet you for coffee at a specific time. The day comes, and they don't show up. Maybe they text an apology later, or perhaps they just move on as if nothing happened. What does this reveal? It's not just about the coffee. It's about respect, commitment, and how much they value you and your time. Shi Heng Yi teaches that when someone makes a commitment, even a small one, they are making a declaration about their character. If they honor that commitment, even when it's inconvenient or they no longer feel like it. They are demonstrating inner strength and integrity. On the other hand, if they break it without remorse or acknowledgement, it shows a lack of alignment between their words and their values. You see, keeping a promise, no matter how small, isn't just about being reliable to others. It's also about being trustworthy to oneself. When someone consistently fails to keep their word, it reflects a deeper issue, a disconnect between who they want to be and who they really are. They might talk about loyalty and dependability, but their actions tell a different story. It's not just about the promise itself, it's also about how they handle it when things go wrong. Life happens. Sometimes we genuinely can't follow through on our commitments, but how do they respond when they break a promise? Do they own up to it, offer a sincere apology and make amends? Or do they dismiss it as unimportant, shifting the blame to circumstances or others? Think about a time when someone let you down. Was it the broken promise that hurt the most, or was it their lack of accountability? Often it's not the mistake that damages trust, it's the way it's handled. Someone who respects you and values their own integrity will take responsibility. Even when it's uncomfortable, Shi Heng Yi believes that every small promise kept builds a foundation of trust, not just with others, but within oneself. It's a commitment to being a person of substance, someone whose actions consistently align with their words. And when you can trust yourself to keep your own promises, you create a solid core of self-respect that others can sense and rely on. So, ask yourself, are you honoring your commitments even when no one is watching? Are you showing up for others and for yourself, even when it's not convenient? Holding yourself accountable doesn't just build your reputation, it shapes your inner world, building a life that reflects who you truly are. Shi Heng Yi often speaks of inner stillness as a defining characteristic of true strength. In a world where reacting impulsively has become second nature, maintaining calm in the midst of chaos is a rare and profound skill. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending not to care. It's about cultivating a center so strong that life's storms cannot easily shake you. Think back to a moment when you witnessed someone lose their temper over a minor inconvenience. Maybe they snapped at a server over a small mistake or became aggressive when faced with a delay. What did it reveal about them? Often it's not the situation itself that's the problem, it's the way they handle it. A person who can't manage their reactions to small frustrations is often struggling with unresolved inner turmoil. Shi Heng Yi teaches that how we respond to unexpected difficulties, like delays, misunderstandings, or criticism, reflects the state of our inner world. Someone who practices inner stillness doesn't immediately react. Instead, they pause, take a breath, and respond thoughtfully. This kind of presence shows an emotional maturity that is rooted in self-awareness. Imagine being able to maintain your calm while others around you are losing theirs, not as a performance but as a natural expression of who you are. This ability not only protects your own peace, but also creates a ripple effect, calming those around you. It's a quiet power that speaks louder than words. Inner stillness doesn't mean being detached or indifferent. It means being so grounded in your own sense of self that external events don't dictate your emotional state. When you encounter someone who remains composed even in stressful situations, it inspires trust and respect. You instinctively feel that this person is reliable, unshaken, and wise. Shi Heng Yi reminds us that practicing inner stillness takes time and commitment. It requires you to become aware of your triggers and to consciously choose how to respond rather than react. This simple pause between stimulus and response can change the entire outcome of a situation. If you find yourself often reacting with frustration or impatience, ask yourself, what am I really reacting to? Is it the event itself, or is it something deeper within me? Developing this self-awareness is a powerful step toward inner peace. When you start observing how others react, you'll notice a pattern. Those who react impulsively often have unresolved fears or insecurities. Those who remain calm have done the inner work to understand themselves. It's not about being perfect, it's about being mindful. So next time life tests you, practice pausing, breathe, reflect, and then choose your response. Over time, this practice will become second nature, transforming how you experience both conflict and calm. It's not just about appearing serene, it's about genuinely feeling it within. Empathy is one of the most profound indicators of a person's character. Shi Heng Yi teaches that true empathy goes beyond simply understanding someone's feelings. It's about being present with them in their experience, without judgment or the need to fix things. It's the ability to listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. Think of a time when you were going through something difficult, and someone genuinely listened to you without interrupting, advising, or dismissing your feelings. Didn't it feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders? That is the power of empathy. It heals without needing to solve. Now think of the opposite. When someone cuts you off mid-sentence to share their own story, or dismisses your pain by saying, "It's not that bad, you'll get over it." In that moment, you don't feel heard, you feel minimized. Shi Heng Yi teaches that real empathy requires us to set aside our own need to be right or helpful. It's about offering space, not solutions. Empathy is revealed not when it's convenient, but when it requires effort. It's easy to show compassion when we agree with someone, or when we feel close to them. But how do we react when someone's perspective challenges our own, or when their emotions make us uncomfortable? Do we still hold space for them? Or do we withdraw, feeling overwhelmed by their intensity? Empathy is not a performance. It's not about appearing kind while inwardly dismissing the other person's experience. It's about genuinely allowing ourselves to connect. Shi Heng Yi believes that empathy dissolves the illusion of separateness. It reminds us that beneath our differences, we all experience pain, joy, fear, and love. Ask yourself, are you truly present when someone shares their struggles? Are you listening to understand or just waiting for your turn to speak? Practicing empathy means allowing yourself to be vulnerable too, to admit when you don't have the answers, and to show up with an open heart anyway. One of the most challenging aspects of empathy is offering it to ourselves. How often do we beat ourselves up over mistakes, pushing away our own pain as if it's unworthy of care? Shi Heng Yi teaches that self-compassion is the root of empathy. When we learn to be gentle with our own imperfections, we naturally extend that kindness to others. So, the next time you encounter someone in pain, pause before responding. Try to feel what they might be feeling, without judgment or impatience. Sometimes all a person needs is to know that their emotions matter, that they are not alone. Empathy doesn't need to fix, it just needs to be present. Reflect on how you practice empathy in your life. Are you truly listening to others? And are you listening to yourself with the same grace and patience? When you cultivate empathy, you not only strengthen your relationships with others, but also deepen your relationship with yourself. It's a powerful practice that bridges the gap between hearts and minds. Shi Heng Yi often speaks of consistency as the foundation of integrity. It's easy to make a good impression once, but maintaining that standard over time is where true character is revealed. The small, consistent actions a person takes, when they think no one is watching, when there's no applause, those actions define who they truly are. Imagine someone who constantly speaks about kindness and respect. They post about it, preach it to others, and wear it like a badge. But when stress hits or when things don't go their way, that kindness crumbles. They snap at a waiter, speak harshly to a loved one, or disregard those they deem less important. In that moment, you see the inconsistency between their words and their actions. Shi Heng Yi teaches that real integrity is unshakable. It's not about being perfect or never faltering, but about striving to align your words and actions as consistently as possible. Integrity isn't built in a single grand gesture. It's forged through countless small decisions to choose honesty, kindness, and respect, even when it's inconvenient. Think about the last time you promised yourself you'd make a change, maybe start a new habit, end a toxic relationship, or stand up for yourself. Did you follow through? Or did you find yourself slipping back into old patterns? It's in these moments that your true commitment to growth is tested. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes that it's not just about making a promise, but about honoring it consistently, even when no one else is holding you accountable. It's easy to be consistent when things are going well, but when challenges arise, your commitment is truly tested. Have you ever seen someone who quietly does the right thing day after day without seeking recognition? Maybe it's a neighbor who always checks on the elderly couple down the street, or a coworker who consistently supports others without looking for praise. These are the people whose integrity shines not because they announce it, but because they live it. On the other hand, consider those who make big promises but rarely follow through. They're enthusiastic at first, but when the excitement fades or the effort becomes too much, they abandon their commitments. Over time, people learn not to rely on them. Consistency builds trust, while inconsistency erodes it. Shi Heng Yi teaches that consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means striving to be reliable, honest, and true to your word, even when it's hard. When you make a mistake, integrity means acknowledging it, making amends, and recommitting to your values. It's this steady effort that builds a life rooted in respect, not just from others, but from yourself. Take a moment to reflect. Are you consistent in the way you treat others? Do your actions match your intentions, even when no one is watching? Integrity isn't something you claim. It's something you demonstrate. In the end, the people you can truly trust are the ones who don't just talk about values. They live them. Their lives reflect their words. And when you find someone whose actions consistently align with their principles, you know you found someone who values integrity at their core. Shi Heng Yi teaches that authenticity is not a performance. It's not about crafting an image that appears genuine. It's about being honest about who you are, even when that truth isn't perfect or polished. In a world where people often curate their lives to look flawless, true authenticity can feel both rare and courageous. Think about the last time you felt truly yourself. Maybe it was with an old friend who knows you deeply, or during a moment of solitude where no one was judging your thoughts or actions. In those moments, you weren't performing for anyone. You weren't filtering your words or worrying about being misunderstood. You were just being. But how often do we allow ourselves to be that raw and real in our everyday lives? Too often, we mold ourselves to fit expectations, to appear strong, successful, or endlessly positive. We fear that showing our vulnerabilities might make us seem weak or unworthy. But Shi Heng Yi teaches that authenticity is not weakness. It's strength. It's the willingness to stand by your truth, even when it makes you vulnerable. Think of someone who owns their flaws without shame. Maybe they openly talk about their struggles or admit when they're feeling uncertain. They don't pretend to have it all figured out. They're not afraid to say, "I don't know," or "I made a mistake." These people don't need to put on a mask because they're comfortable in their own skin. Now think about someone who never admits fault, someone who always has an excuse or a reason why they're not to blame. This need to maintain a perfect image is not a sign of strength, it's a sign of insecurity. When someone can't show their imperfections, it's often because they fear being judged or rejected. Shi Heng Yi believes that when you embrace authenticity, you invite deeper connections. People are drawn to those who are real, not because they're flawless, but because they're relatable. Authenticity doesn't demand that you share every detail of your life or expose your deepest secrets. It simply means being truthful about who you are, without trying to craft an image that doesn't align with your reality. Ask yourself, are you presenting a version of yourself that matches who you really are? Or are you constantly editing your words and actions to fit what others expect? Authenticity means honoring your own experience, even when it's messy or imperfect. When you choose to be real, you also give others permission to do the same. Your openness becomes a safe space where others feel comfortable showing their true selves. And that's the beauty of authenticity. It's contagious. The more you embrace it, the more it ripples through your relationships, building connections based on truth rather than pretense. So the next time you feel tempted to put on a facade, pause. Ask yourself, what would happen if I just showed up as myself without embellishment or pretense? You might be surprised to find that the world responds not with judgment, but with respect. After all, it's not perfection that inspires others. It's the courage to be genuine. Shi Heng Yi teaches that true strength is not rigid or unyielding. It's not about dominating others or forcing your way through life. Instead, real strength is balanced with compassion. a softness that allows you to remain human even when faced with challenges. Think of a tree bending gracefully in the wind. It doesn't break because it knows how to yield without losing its roots. In the same way, people who balance strength with compassion can stand firm in their values without becoming harsh or cold. They understand that being strong doesn't mean being unfeeling. Imagine someone who always needs to prove they're right, who can't let go of an argument even when it hurts the people they care about. They might think they're strong for standing their ground, but what they're really showing is a lack of emotional flexibility. Real strength is knowing when to stand firm and when to soften. Shi Heng Yi believes that those who are truly strong aren't threatened by the need to be gentle. They can hold space for others, listen without interrupting, and show kindness without feeling it diminishes their power. This balance is what makes them resilient. Now think of someone who is endlessly compassionate, but lacks the strength to set boundaries. They give too much, say yes when they mean no, and end up feeling drained and unappreciated. Compassion without strength can lead to self-sacrifice and resentment. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes that real harmony comes when you blend the two. To practice this balance, start by reflecting on your own reactions. When someone challenges you, do you immediately feel the need to defend yourself? Or can you pause, breathe, and respond from a place of calm confidence? On the other hand, when someone seeks your help, do you give without considering your own well-being? Finding that middle ground means honoring both your strength and your compassion. One of the best ways to develop this balance is through mindful awareness. The next time you feel your emotions flare up, whether it's anger, frustration, or even a desire to please, take a moment to step back. Ask yourself, am I reacting from a place of fear or ego, or am I responding with both firmness and empathy? Remember, the strongest people aren't the ones who never bend. They are the ones who can adapt without breaking, who can face life's difficulties with both resolve and kindness. They know that true power doesn't lie in domination, but in the ability to remain calm, compassionate, and clear-headed, even when under pressure. Reflect on your own life. Are you balancing your strength with compassion? Are you holding on to rigid expectations or allowing yourself to be both firm and gentle? Shi Heng Yi's wisdom teaches us that this harmony is not just a philosophy. It's a way of living that nurtures both ourselves and those around us. When you master this balance, you become someone who can be trusted to stand strong without becoming harsh and to show compassion without being taken advantage of. It's a rare and beautiful quality, one that others will instinctively respect and admire. Shi Heng Yi teaches that inner stillness is not the absence of movement, but the presence of a calm core amidst life's turbulence. It's the ability to remain centered even when chaos surrounds you. This stillness doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or ignoring reality. It means responding with intention rather than reacting with impulse. Imagine walking through a crowded, noisy place where everyone is rushing and colliding. Now, picture yourself moving through it with a calm, unhurried pace. While others are caught up in the frenzy, you maintain your own rhythm. This inner stillness is what allows you to navigate life's challenges without losing your sense of self. But how do you develop this quality? Shi Heng Yi suggests that it starts with cultivating awareness. When emotions rise, whether it's anger, frustration, or anxiety, don't rush to suppress them. Instead, acknowledge them without judgment. Simply notice what you're feeling. This act of observation itself creates a pause, a gap between feeling and action. In that gap lies your power. Rather than being swept away by your emotions, you gain the ability to choose your response. You become like a still lake that reflects the sky without being disturbed by the wind. This doesn't mean you're unaffected or indifferent. It means you are grounded. Think about a time when someone provoked you, but instead of reacting with anger, you chose to respond calmly. Maybe you took a deep breath before speaking, or you walked away to collect your thoughts. That choice wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a demonstration of your inner strength. Shi Heng Yi believes that this calm presence not only benefits you, but also influences those around you. When you remain composed, others feel it. Your steadiness can soothe anxiety, diffuse tension, and inspire confidence. People are drawn to those who maintain their calm because it signals reliability and self-control. But what if you find yourself constantly reacting, always caught up in the whirlwind of your own emotions? Begin by practicing stillness in small ways. When you're stuck in traffic, instead of letting frustration build, take that moment to breathe and notice your surroundings. When someone's words hurt you, allow yourself a pause before deciding how to respond. Shi Heng Yi teaches that inner stillness is not a destination, it's a practice. You cultivate it through mindful choices, through learning to be present with your emotions rather than being ruled by them. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Ask yourself, when life tests you, do you react impulsively, or do you take a moment to center yourself? Developing inner stillness doesn't mean being passive. It means choosing to respond from a place of clarity. It means being the calm in the storm, not because life is easy, but because you've trained your mind to remain anchored. In the end, this quiet power transforms how you live. It brings peace to your heart, harmony to your interactions, and resilience to your spirit. As you cultivate inner stillness, you'll find that life's challenges no longer overwhelm you. Instead, they become opportunities to deepen your presence and expand your understanding. Practice this, and you will find that your life becomes less about reacting to the world and more about moving through it with grace and purpose. And that, according to Shi Heng Yi, is the path to true mastery of the self. Shi Heng Yi often reminds us that self-awareness is the root of all personal growth. It's not just about recognizing your strengths or celebrating your successes. It's about having the courage to look at your flaws, your fears, and your unspoken thoughts without flinching. Think about how often people go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations without understanding why they feel or behave a certain way. They might get angry at a minor inconvenience or feel threatened by someone else's success, but they never stop to ask themselves why these emotions surface. Without awareness, they become prisoners of their own habits and impulses. Shi Heng Yi teaches that true freedom comes from self-awareness. It's the ability to step back and observe your own thoughts and actions as if you're watching yourself from the outside. This doesn't mean detaching from reality. It means acknowledging that you are not your emotions or your reactions. You are the observer of them. Imagine a moment when you felt jealousy rise within you. Maybe it was triggered by someone else's success or happiness. Instead of judging yourself harshly for feeling that way, Shi Heng Yi suggests asking, where is this feeling coming from? Often, jealousy is rooted not in the other person's achievements, but in your own unfulfilled desires. By identifying this, you transform the emotion from something shameful to something informative. One of the most profound practices of self-awareness is journaling. Writing down your thoughts without filtering or censoring them allows you to see patterns that would otherwise go unnoticed. Maybe you notice that stress at work always leads to tension at home, or that unresolved issues from your past surface whenever you feel judged. These insights are invaluable, not because they solve the problem instantly, but because they reveal where healing is needed. Shi Heng Yi also teaches that self-awareness isn't about constantly analyzing yourself or becoming obsessed with your flaws. It's about cultivating a gentle curiosity towards your inner world. Instead of labeling your feelings as good or bad, simply notice them. Treat your thoughts like passing clouds. They are not you. They are just experiences moving through you. This perspective changes everything. Instead of feeling trapped by your emotions, you become an active participant in your own growth. You recognize that every feeling, every reaction, is an opportunity to learn something about yourself. Think of the difference between someone who reacts with anger and someone who responds with awareness. The first person might lash out, hurt others, and later regret it. The second person pauses, acknowledges their frustration, and then chooses a response that aligns with their values. This gap between impulse and action is where transformation happens. Shi Heng Yi believes that self-awareness is not about perfection. It's not about erasing your flaws or never feeling negative emotions. It's about being honest with yourself, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about looking at your reflection without filters and accepting what you see. Reflect for a moment. How often do you pause to question your reactions? Do you take the time to explore your emotions before acting on them? Practicing self-awareness is like building a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And as your awareness deepens, so does your ability to live intentionally. You stop being a passenger in your own life and become the one steering the wheel. This is the essence of living authentically, as Shi Heng Yi teaches. When you know yourself, you no longer need to wear masks or follow scripts. You simply exist, as you are, real, grounded, and at peace. Shi Heng Yi often speaks of reflection as the bridge between experience and wisdom. It's not enough to simply go through life's challenges. To truly grow, you must pause and look back at what those experiences taught you. Reflection is like looking into a mirror, not just to see your own face, but to understand your soul. Many people rush through their days without taking the time to process what happened, how they felt, or why they reacted a certain way. They move from one task to the next, carrying unresolved emotions like heavy baggage. Shi Heng Yi teaches that without reflection, you are bound to repeat the same mistakes, stuck in a loop of unexamined patterns. Think about a time when something didn't go as planned. Maybe you lost your temper or made a decision that didn't turn out well. Did you take a moment to reflect on why it happened, or did you just move on, hoping to forget about it? Reflection doesn't mean dwelling on your mistakes. It means understanding them so you can make different choices in the future. One way to practice reflection is through mindfulness. Set aside a few moments at the end of each day to ask yourself, what went well today? What could I have handled better? What did I learn about myself through today's experiences? This simple practice can transform how you perceive your own growth. You begin to see your life as a continuous journey of learning, rather than a series of unrelated events. You understand that each day offers lessons, some gentle, some harsh, but all valuable in shaping who you are becoming. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes that reflection is not about criticizing yourself. It's about observing your actions with compassion and curiosity. Maybe you discover that your frustration at work had less to do with the situation and more to do with feeling undervalued. Maybe your impatience with a loved one stemmed from your own stress, not their actions. These insights allow you to take ownership of your emotions without being harsh on yourself. Reflection also helps you understand your progress. Sometimes, when life feels stagnant, it's because you haven't paused to notice how far you've come. Looking back at where you were a year ago, or even a month ago, can reveal growth that you might have overlooked. Shi Heng Yi believes that the more you reflect, the more intentional your future actions become. You stop repeating the same patterns because you've learned to recognize them. You make choices based not on old habits but on conscious understanding. Ask yourself, do you take time to reflect on your actions and thoughts, or do you rush forward without looking back? Integrating reflection into your routine doesn't require hours of meditation, just a few mindful moments to consider how your day shaped you. By making reflection a habit, you create space for wisdom to emerge. You gain clarity about your choices, and you develop a deeper sense of self-awareness. In a world that constantly pushes you to move faster, reflection invites you to slow down and listen to your own inner voice. It's in these quiet moments that true transformation begins. Shi Heng Yi teaches that living with intentionality means making conscious choices rather than drifting through life on autopilot. It's about aligning your actions with your deepest values, rather than reacting to external pressures or following routines without thought. Think about how many times you've gone through your day without really thinking about why you're doing what you're doing. You wake up, go to work, interact with people, and handle responsibilities. But how much of it is truly intentional? Are you living in alignment with your values, or just moving through familiar patterns? Shi Heng Yi believes that intentionality begins with knowing yourself. It's asking, what truly matters to me? What kind of person do I want to be? Am I choosing my actions, or am I just reacting to life's demands? To live intentionally, you must first set your intentions. This means being clear about your priorities and values. For example, if kindness is important to you, make a conscious effort to act kindly, even when it's challenging. If personal growth is your goal, seek out situations that push you beyond your comfort zone. Intentionality also means questioning your habits. Are your daily routines serving your well-being, Or are they just habits you've carried from the past? Shi Heng Yi teaches that breaking free from mindless routines requires awareness. Notice which activities drain your energy and which ones replenish it. Then, make choices that align more with who you want to become. Imagine your life as a garden. Without intention, weeds will grow and overtake the space. But with care, you can choose what to plant, nurture it, and watch it flourish. In the same way, intentionality requires tending to your thoughts, actions, and relationships. You decide what to cultivate and what to let go of. When you live intentionally, you start to notice subtle changes. Your days feel more meaningful because they are shaped by conscious choices rather than automatic responses. You feel more in control, not because you can predict every outcome, but because you're actively shaping your path. Shi Heng Yi also teaches that intentional living is not about perfection. It's about practicing awareness and making choices that feel true to your values. Sometimes you'll slip back into old habits. That's natural. The key is to notice it without self-judgment and gently redirect yourself back to your intentions. Think about a recent decision you made without much thought. Maybe you agreed to something out of habit or reacted impulsively without considering the consequences. Reflecting on that moment, could you have responded differently if you had paused to align your action with your intentions? Intentionality means creating space between stimulus and response. It's taking a breath before you react, giving yourself a moment to choose your next step. This practice not only fosters self-respect, but also deepens your relationships because people sense when your actions come from a place of thoughtfulness rather than reflex. So how can you start living more intentionally? Begin with small changes. Set a mindful intention each morning. Something simple, like being patient today, or expressing gratitude to those around you. Carry that intention with you throughout the day, reminding yourself whenever you feel rushed or overwhelmed. By living intentionally, you reclaim your life from the rush of modern existence. You start to experience a quieter, deeper sense of purpose, rooted not in external achievements, but in the peaceful knowledge that your choices reflect your truest self. Final thoughts. The journey of self-discovery. Shi Heng Yi's teachings remind us that understanding human nature isn't about judging others or labeling them as good or bad. It's about observing the small, everyday actions that reveal deeper truths. How people treat those who can't offer them anything in return, how they keep their promises, how they balance strength with compassion, and how they practice self-awareness. These are the real indicators of character. In your own journey, remember that self-growth is not a straight path. There will be days when you react impulsively, break a promise, or feel disconnected from your own values. Shi Heng Yi teaches that the key is not to strive for perfection, but to cultivate awareness. When you notice yourself drifting, gently bring yourself back to your intentions. Every day is an opportunity to practice living more authentically, more mindfully, and more intentionally. The more you commit to this path, the clearer your own values become, and the easier it is to see others with empathy and insight. By looking beyond appearances and understanding the essence of character, you not only become more discerning, but also more compassionate. So take a moment to reflect. Are you living in alignment with your values? Are you treating others with respect and understanding, even when they can't offer you anything in return? Are you keeping your word, not just to others, but also to yourself? Life is not just about achieving goals or meeting expectations. It's about becoming a person who moves through the world with integrity and kindness. Shi Heng Yi's wisdom teaches us that real mastery is not about controlling others, but about mastering ourselves. If this exploration resonated with you, take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments. Have you noticed these small indicators of character in yourself or others? Your insights could inspire someone else on their journey. And if you want to continue deepening your understanding of human nature, subscribe to the channel and be part of a community that values wisdom and growth. Together we can keep learning, reflecting, and evolving. Thank you for being here. Remember, the journey of self-discovery never truly ends. It's a path you walk with intention, awareness, and an open heart. Until next time, keep observing, keep reflecting, and most importantly, keep evolving.